Here's the main picture, the entry picture when you go to the Allen Edmonds website. And they show you all of their nice leather shoes that are made in the United States, or at least a selection of them. Let's go to the new shoes. Or let me back up and say, look at this. It says Port Washington. Up until 2015, it's my memory that all Allen Edmonds shoes were made in the United States, with a few models being made in Italy, and a very few models made in Puerto Rico or someplace like that, but very few. Let's go to the new shoes here. These are the new releases. All right. This shoe here is $295. Where would you expect that shoe to be made? In the United States? Italy? It wouldn't be made in England, because I don't think I've ever seen an English shoe made like that. But some Western country, right? And that would justify the price of $295. Let's see where it's made. Imported. One thing that tells us is it's not made in the United States. If it were made in Italy, Germany, if it were made in England, even Portugal, any of the European countries of Western Europe, I'm almost certain it would say that country right here. If it said Italy or Portugal or Germany or England or any of those countries, it would be. I'm guessing that's either made in China or India, Vietnam, or one of those types of countries, or Mexico, which would be fine, but it's not with the Allen Edmonds tradition. And I have a question to ask Allen Edmonds. Where's it? Who is going to pay $295 plus tax for a shoe that's not made in the United States or Western Europe? Some people will go to your website, they'll click on it, and they'll see that. But maybe is it other ones? Here's his Sebastian or whatever. How about this one, Super Sport model? Still, in my opinion, a little bit effeminate. You would expect this to be made in maybe Italy. Where is it made? Imported. It's very unlikely that's going to be made in Western Europe, where the labor costs are more. If the labor costs are more, like in the United States or Western Europe, you would understand why the price is high. All right, let's look at this one. This is a Strand model. Strand, one of their most popular models, right? Where's it made at? Imported. Once again, imported. Let's go to some other models. Let's see here. You got this one. This one doesn't have a write-up underneath it, so I don't know. Let's try this one. Paxton. Let's see where this one's made. Imported. That's an awful lot of money to ask people to buy for a shoe that's probably made in China, Vietnam, Mexico, some of those countries. They sell this because there's an Allen Edmonds label. Many people will naturally think it's made in the United States or maybe Italy, and then they get it home and they find out it's made in another country, most likely. These are all their new releases, right? I don't know. I haven't seen this one before. Let's see where this sandal is made. $225 for a sandal? Imported? Are you gonna spend? I don't wear sandals, but is somebody gonna spend $225 plus tax for a sandal that's not made in the United States or Western Europe? There's 10, 20, 50 brands that make similar items for a fraction of that price that are made in those countries. So these are the new shoes. These are the new ones that they're releasing. Out of all of these, How many do you think of these are made in the United States? Maybe 2, 3? All right, let's go over here to, I don't know, we'll go over here to sneakers. Shop all. All right. As we go through these sneakers, there's 48 of them. So what we're starting to see is a drift toward American-made manufacturing to this other manufacturing. How did that go for Florsheim and Johnson Murphy, Dexter, all 1,000 companies that made that mistake? They lost their reputation. That you can name, if you do a little research, 50, 100 traditional brands of American shoes. They started making the shoes overseas, and within 30 years, their history. To my knowledge, out of all of these shoes seen here, to my knowledge, not a single one of them is made in the United States. Let's look at this Randolph. Imported. Randolph is supposed to be one of their most popular models, right? Well, let's go on. Which one do you think would be made in the United States? Maybe the Park Avenue shell cordovan for $650. Where do you think that's going to be made at? The United States or Italy? It's imported. It's not made in the United States. And as I've said a dozen times, if it were made in Italy or any part of Western Europe, it would say that right there. I think. I'm 90% sure. It's not. It's probably made in Vietnam or who knows where it's made at. And that's Park Avenue, and it's $650 for a shoe that's not made in the United States or even Western Europe. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. And Park Avenue is one of their key brands, isn't it? This one, the Alpha High Top, I guess they had such a hard time selling it, they can't sell it for anything. I've already looked at that one. I know that one's made in China. Again, Park Avenue. I'm not seeing anything here. We've already looked at a Strand shoe. It looks like they're having a really hard time selling them. Look at this. That's less than half a retail. That's about half a retail. That's less than half a retail. That's way less than half a retail. Way less than half a retail. So they're having a hard time selling it. I wonder why. I wonder why they're having such a hard time selling them. Look at this, Higgins Hill. That's a big name for Allen Edmonds, right? Where is it made? Imported. Right down here. So this is the new Allen Edmonds. And sure, they still sell some of their shoes are made in the United States. There's no question about that. A lot of their boots are made in the United States. But there's a higher and higher and higher percentage of their shoes and boots that are not made in the United States. And that all came about because of some new ownership. I think it is about 2015. And ever since then, we've seen that. And there's lots of these shoes that are made right here. Again, some of these are $300. And they're not, I just can't believe people would buy that. A lot of these, I'm sure, are made in the United States. This one I don't think is. We already looked at that. This one's made in Italy. That kind of makes sense if it's made with higher labor cost. Anyway, I think you see my point. It's just Allen Edmonds is going down the same road so many shoe companies have gone down. Dozens through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. They thought they could make some money by shifting their production to overseas, and they make money for maybe about 10 or 20 years. They lose their reputation. And what's going to happen to Allen Edmonds, if they're not careful, is their buyers, their base is going to go to Alden and Raincourt. A man who wants to buy a made in the United States shoe is either going to go to Alden or Raincourt. And there's a bunch of other companies, but primarily those two. Okay, that's it for this video.